In the summer of 1892, William James stood before a group of Cambridge teachers and told them something they did not expect. He was there to share the insights of the new psychology, the discipline he himself had largely created in America, with people who might apply them in classrooms. They expected scientific prescriptions. Do this, avoid that. Here is what the research shows. What James told them was that psychology could not tell them how to teach. It could describe the mind. It could illuminate what interest is, how habit forms, how attention works, how memory operates. But the translation of these descriptions into effective teaching practice, that was an art, and no science could replace it. This was not a retreat from psychology. It was an insistence on the limits of any scientific account of human beings, and on the irreplaceable role of the teacher's own judgment, creativity, and responsiveness to the particular students in front of them. His core claim about learning was this: no mental acquisition occurs without interest. The mind does not passively absorb information that is presented to it. It actively processes what it finds interesting and rejects, or superficially registers, what it finds dull. This is not a failure of discipline. It is how attention works. Attention follows interest, and without attention, nothing is learned. James distinguished between native interests, those present in the child by temperament, shaped by constitution and early experience, and acquired interests, which develop through familiarity and skill. Native interests in physical activity, in story, in puzzle solving, in social relationship, in novelty, are universal and can be relied upon. Acquired interests are more varied and more powerful but must be developed through experience. The practical implication was clear. The teacher's first task is to connect new material to existing interests. Not to pretend it is interesting when it isn't, but to genuinely find the connection, the story, the puzzle, the application, the human stakes, that makes the new material relevant to something the student already cares about. Once the connection is made and some familiarity develops, new interest can grow on its own. James was also insistent about the role of habit in education. The goal of education, he argued, is not the accumulation of facts but the formation of character, the development of habits of thought, of discipline, of intellectual courage and integrity that will persist long after specific facts are forgotten. Education is primarily habit formation, and the habits that matter most are habits of mind, the habit of attending carefully, of questioning assumptions, of following an argument wherever it leads, of revising beliefs in light of evidence. He had a specific and practical piece of advice for teachers about motivation. Never let a student feel that work is over before it is truly finished. The mind that has learned to stop at the first obstacle, that has been permitted to call a thing done before it is done, has been trained in a kind of intellectual dishonesty. The mind that has been required, again and again, to push through to actual completion has learned something that no amount of knowledge can substitute for. James also addressed a concern that was widespread among teachers then and remains widespread now: the fear that students will be damaged by difficulty, by failure, by the experience of not knowing the answer. His response was characteristically direct. Difficulty, managed well, is not an obstacle to education. It is education. The student who has genuinely struggled with a problem and arrived at an answer has learned something that the student who was simply given the answer has not. The struggle is not a sign that something has gone wrong. It is the process by which minds develop. His lectures to teachers were, by all accounts, the most practical and the most immediately appreciated work he ever produced. Teachers found in them not a set of techniques but something better, a way of thinking about their work that honored its difficulty and illuminated its deepest purpose. Subscribe to The Psychology of William James for more of his timeless ideas.